Remember Me is a show about the sudden rise to fame.
Each week, we talk to the people who burst onto our screens.
We talk about the highs, the lows, and what happens when the attention fades.
From tabloid chaos
to early internet madness.
I'm Maisie Adam.
I'm Scott Bryan.
And this is Remember Me. Hello, joining us on this week's episode of Remember Me is star of Series 4 of Big Brother and Brainiac. He's the cleverest person we've ever had on this podcast so far. It's Jon Tickle.
Jon, how are you going to walk on custard?
Well, I'm going to take advantage of the properties of custard itself.
That is amazing!
I was fangirling like nobody else because I was a massive Big Brother and also, of course, Brainiac Science Abuse, which was a show that essentially just blew up caravans under the guise of science. With Big Brother, though, he was on in 2003, so that's Series 4, considered by even Jon himself to be a boring year.
Yeah.
And was won by Cameron Stouts.
On the 25th of July 2003, Cameron was voted the winner of Big Brother 4. It was the year of twists and turns.
You're a killer.
Instant nominations.
Already?
Reward rooms. Double evictions. A bomb scare.
You absolutely have to come now.
An African swap. And an evicted housemate voted back into the house.
Oh my God.
Evening.
I think it's one for everybody, this episode. It's highly entertaining, but obviously it's Jon Tickle. It's full of sort of really fun but nerdy facts and science. Just so everybody knows, before we started recording, Scott's question to Jon was, what's your eyesight? And they had a lovely, I'd made some notes here, had a lovely little discussion where you were discussing stigmatism and clip-on glasses.
And it only went from there.
And that was the basis of a beautiful friendship.
More than 10,000 people applied to be on Big Brother 4.
Yeah.
This was the last Big Brother to feature people sending in audition tapes. We talk about that with Jon. And also this was the last time that people would make basically home videos.
Yes, yeah.
What would your home video be if you were a housemate contestant?
Oh, God. I mean, when you watch some of the old ones, they are so... Because it's just so... Pick me, isn't it? It's very... I mean, Jon talks about his... I think I would be on the rolling hills of Yorkshire, giving it proper. Hey up, do you need a straight-talking Yorkshire lass in that house? Do you need someone who can make a brew? Well, look no further than this gal here. I'll be right good. Get us in, Davina. That'd be me.
Get the Yorkshire Tea advert on the dial now.
They'd be like, Johnny Vegas looks it's a bit different. That paints a good picture of where we're at when we start our story with Jon Tickle, which turned out to genuinely be so sort of incredible. It took so many twists and turns, and he's had such a incidental but illustrious career.
It's amazing.
He really was, wasn't he? He was a really special person to talk to. He gets quite emotional at some points, and but he's a really grounded bloke with a really good outlook, I think, on things. And we spoke so much that it's a two-parter. So for now, enjoy part 1 of Remember Me with Jon Tickle.
Where else would you ever have a two-part interview with Jon
two-parter.
Tickle?
I know.
But it's deserved.
Enjoy the two-part tickle. I'm sorry, I couldn't resist. Jon, hello, and welcome to Remember Me.
Hello.
How are you, Jon Tickle?
Brilliant. Delighted to be here. Very excited.
As are we.
I mean, I am...
You're very excited.
I am very excited. There's no word of a lie. I think because I've seen you on TV for so many years, and then it's also you were in the years on TV when I was growing up being a teenager.
And it's worth us saying, since we started doing this show, you were one of the most requested names that we chat to.
Oh, blimey. No, don't give me an ego.
Oh, come on.
But I've had friends say to me, like, when I heard about the concept of the podcast, when are you interviewing Jon Tickle? Which is, yeah.
Is there an age demographic that seems to really kind of go up to you in the street and be like, oh my God.
Oh, I love playing this game.
Yeah.
Because you can pick them from a mile off.
Really? Okay,
yeah.
what's their vibe?
Well, I mean, the very easiest ones is ladies over about 40
Okay.
used to watch Big Brother, didn't you?
Yep. Yep.
Younger gentlemen, definitely Brainiac.
Brainiac.
I'm very sorry about the gendered answer there,
No, this
it
is
is
true.
still the case that no women come up and say hello to me
From
under the
Brainiac.
age of 40. None at all.
Really?
Yeah. People come up to me and say, you must have got a lot of action. No, I'm sorry, it's just the blokes, and only when they've had a beer. So,
Oh, God. So, I mean, you've mentioned it there. There's Big Brother, there's Brainiac, but that Big Brother was not your first TV appearance, John.
Oh, you've been doing your research.
We are.
haven't you?
We're well researched on Remember Me.
Just
Yeah.
Googling Jon Tickle day after
Yes.
day. That's just my life now.
You must be talking about Blockbusters.
We
then.
are indeed.
Yes.
1992.
Totally unintentional. They just interviewed the top set in the school for candidates to go on Blockbusters, and my twin brother and I I think, came across as a little bit different. We argued constantly in those days
Okay.
as teenagers, and
Yeah.
they just liked the dynamic. So
They came
yeah.
to your school to find
Oh, yeah,
contestants.
yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, twin brother as well.
Yes.
A delight. What's it like having a twin brother?
Oh, well, it's okay for me because I'm the older twin. I'm taller,
Uh-huh.
heavier, better looking, and more intelligent. So, I've got it all.
I'm beginning to see why you
He's
argue,
going to
John.
watch it and he's going to hate it.
Best bit with no right of reply.
Yeah, exactly,
So, get in touch. We can mention it in a future episode. So it's fine.
And I answered more Blockbusters questions than he did.
Which is the most important thing.
Yes.
Did you win anything?
No.
What?
No, we were predicted to walk it.
I mean, this is the most sort of like unconventional way into fame, I think, out of all the people that we've spoken to, maybe. Because the Blockbuster thing is by total accident, as you say.
Yeah.
Big Brother, how did that, because were you a data manager at the time?
Data strategy manager
Data
was the
strategy
job title
manager.
strictly.
How
yes.
does a data strategy manager end up on Big Brother?
It's an embarrassing story. It was a bet with myself.
I thought this was with the twin
I'll
brother
try
again.
and do this succinctly, right? So, two techie guys living in a flat share. We've got Ethernet cable everywhere. We'd borrowed a projector from work on a sort of semi-permanent basis.
Okay.
Plugged it into the cable box and into a PC so we could project anything we liked onto the big white bare wall of our living room. Had no furniture or anything like that.
Of course.
So,
This
and
sounds
so-
like the start of the social network,
It
doesn't
really
it?
does. I think I was hooked in from the word Ethernet cable.
So we were workaholics. At night, we would be on our laptops working, and almost as wallpaper at the end of the room was people from Big Brother sleeping. It was just a Big Brother live stream.
Oh, of course.
So, as you do, I was sort of semi-boasting about this tech setup at a barbecue with some mates, and one of my mates got completely the wrong end of the stick and thought that I was talking about my fascination with Big Brother.
Oh,
not,
I see.
Not about
So
the
it's
tech.
not.
Yeah. And they said to me, I don't know why you're so interested in this, John. It's rubbish TV and you'd never get on it. To which my response was obviously, screw you. I can do whatever I set my mind to. My name's John. I will be on it next year. And so I was. Now my secret's out. Everybody in the world now knows how to play me and get me to do stuff.
It's just to go, I bet you can't do that, John.
Yeah.
I bet you can't do that.
Pretty much.
So purely from that one comment, you apply for Big Brother.
Yeah.
Now this was back in the day where you had to send the audition tapes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
How can you remember your audition tape?
Oh, very clearly, yes. I filmed it on the north shore of Sydney Harbour, Kirribilli, under the Sydney Harbour Bridge. I had 3 different friends who just happened to be living in Sydney at the same time. Stayed with my friend who was on secondment out to Sydney, had a company flat, as I say, underneath Sydney Harbour Bridge, next to the Sydney Yacht Squadron, and he had a pool. And I filmed it there, drinking a G&T.
That's a pretty good
and I
location.
guess it was just different enough that it got their attention, and that's what you need. You need to be just different enough at every stage.
Yeah.
Do they ever tell you why they've chosen you as a housemate? Do you ever get that sense? Because there's many people applying back then, I would imagine, because it was a really big show. I mean, the first series was a social experiment, but then it just takes off. And by the series that you're in, it's absolutely massive. So I imagine when you get selected through, you might be thinking like, why me?
Well, we understood, I think, that 100,000 people applied for Big Brother 4.
Wow.
I think, it's going to sound horribly arrogant, but I think I know why I got through each round. So it was all one-to-one interviews with executive producers and Harley Street psychiatrists. Also, I believe that what stood me out from other people is I'd remembered all of the crew's names. So I said goodbye to them personally when we
This is
left.
the data strategist
Yeah,
at work. Yeah.
Just those little things make a difference.
They make a difference.
People buy people.
Yeah. Oh my God. What are your memories of Big Brother, John? Are they positive?
Oh, very positive.
Yeah.
In 2003, cast your mind back, it's the Gulf War. So that's all going on. But also beautifully
Why that
hot
makes
summer.
me laugh.
No, I didn't think that your memories of Big Brother would start with the Gulf War.
No, but that's just the context of
yes,
the
yes.
year.
A bit like Kelly Young and Bosnia again. Yeah.
A beautifully hot sort of late spring, early summer.
Yeah.
Big Brother, when Davina does sort of retrospectives of Big Brother, she glosses over Big Brother 4 because it's so boring. They made the mistake. It was tagline back to basics. Just get 12 people in a house, see how they get on.
Yeah.
No gimmicks, nothing. No LGBT people in there. We were all aged between 18 and 33, I think. All of us had pretty ordinary jobs.
But why was that? Was it because it was seen to be at the time going a bit too far away from its original concept? So it's like, we've got to drag it back.
No, I don't think it was that. It was just, what can we do new this year? What's
see.
a different spin on it? The mistake they made was they gave us all the ability to take one book in. I took the combined works of Shakespeare and read 7 plays and everybody else's book. So what?
Scott's like, this is what happens when you get a house full of straight people.
So
I mean, it's just my
Exactly.
worst nightmare.
yes. So gloriously sunny, morning to night. We lay on the grass, we sunbathed, we read our books, we didn't talk to each other. We even had a gentleman's reading club every afternoon where we
my
sat on
God.
the sofas when it got a bit too hot. So yeah, there was nothing to show.
Did you get the vibe that maybe production were? Cause do you have any interaction with the production staff whilst there?
Well, it's the strangest thing that this was a shock to all of us on day one. The voices of Big Brother weren't some kind of voiceover person. They were the producers. They were the people who had interviewed us.
So you'd hear the voice and go...
For 4 months, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's Matilda.
Yeah.
Now, they soon stopped that, and we weren't allowed to call them by name.
Of course.
So we called the chickens. We had a little coop of chickens. We called the chickens by the names of all the producers we knew. And then we said, oh, that's... And when we talked to each other about who'd talked to us in the diary room, we said, oh, that's brown chicken. That's black chicken.
This has gone full, Lord of the
So
Flies.
yes, we knew who we were talking to, and it was just a very different dynamic. You could
it's
talk back to
clever.
those people. You could argue with those people. You know, I went in thinking, oh no, this is going to be Orwellian 1984 Big Brother,
Yeah, yeah.
nasty Big Brother. Oh no, it's Tills. It's
Yeah,
Tills
yeah.
talking to me. That's nice. So yeah.
That's not a side of Big Brother that I thought we'd see.
That's why I spent so much time in the diary room.
This is Big Brother. Would John please come to the dining room?
Well, there we go.
I think it was like another 5 series before anybody spent the total number of hours that I spent in the diary room and when I was in there.
I mean, I was remembering your exit interview with Davina, where Davina says that you actually treated it like a diary room.
You were one of the only housemates, in fact, that we've ever had that's actually used the diary room, which is called a diary room for a reason, as a diary.
Well, I thought that was what it was there for. I wanted to record.
Had you seen the other
some...
No,
I was very disappointed because I asked the production crew, can I have my diary room tapes? Because I'd like to watch them back. That's my diary.
Because it's good keeping a diary.
Yeah, I was very lucky, Scott, that I thought I'd come out of the house with a bad reputation, that I'd be globally hated. It was a massive shock to me that people didn't seem to mind me or maybe even positively liked me.
I mean, they loved you. I mean, you seem very
Why did you have that thought? Why?
Well, I just prepared for the worst.
Yeah.
And so I have never watched Big Brother 4. I've never read any of the press clippings because I didn't want the image that people were telling me about myself to be in any way downgraded. I've got a lot of feedback of people on the street and it's all very lovely and I'm comfortable with that. I don't want to risk that and feel disappointed in myself. So no, I've never watched any of it. Don't need to. Don't think. I think I found out enough about myself. What whilst I was in there.
What did you find out about yourself?
Well, apparently I'm quite difficult to get on with, unless I work on it. Here's a stat for you. Stat
Okay,
geeks.
yeah, absolutely.
When you count up, you go on Wikipedia, when you count up the number of nominations that each housemate got, the people who came out on the very last day, I can't remember exactly how many nominations they got, but something like 19.
Sure.
I got that number in the first 4 weeks out of 9. Everybody was nominating me whilst I was in there.
And what were they saying?
Just that I was a bit odd. And they found it hard to get on with me. And I guess I can understand that. I was playing a game. I was trying to hold myself together and get through it and just look after me. And I wasn't really caring about the other people in there or looking after them or wanting to interact with them and get too personal with them. So I was a bit standoffish.
What did you want to get from the experience? Just to see if you could do it?
Just to get through it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
not to walk, because we'd already had people climbing over the walls by then. And so I was just determined to stick it out.
Yeah. Not necessarily determined to win, but just determined to...
People like me don't win things like that. No.
Well, yeah, you were quite a unique contestant, John, as after eviction.
Quite unique.
Well, yeah, you were the first housemate to be voted back into the house.
Yes.
You guys, fucking yes. 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Stop me to talk today. I can't hear anything.
Just come back downstairs. Oh my God.
Oh my God! John!
Couldn't you imagine? I knew someone was coming in. Oh my God.
What the hell is going on?
You actually said it.
John!
So you did get some popularity, just not with the people you were in the house with, but with the public. They all wanted you to go back in.
Oh, I've got horrible things. I don't think I've ever said this on camera before. It may show me in a bad light, but I remember a conversation with Jenny Trent Hughes, who was a TV psychiatrist back in the day, and she pulled me aside after a show once, and she sat me down and she said, "John, you've got to realise something. There's always 2 winners of Big Brother. There's, see, I'm getting emotional. There's the person who wins, and then there's the person who comes out last."
Wow.
Mm.
Bloomin' heck.
So get to grips with that, said Jenny. And I went, oh God, I didn't want that to be the case. So I've never embraced that kind of thought, but I understand why she said it, and I sort of had to grow off a little bit.
Did it alter your perspective?
Yes, I took it a bit more seriously, and
Wow.
and yeah.
How did it feel to be voted the person to go back in?
Again, Jon Tickle arrogance again. It wasn't really a surprise. I'd been outside for 3 weeks. I'd had the public reaction, and so I knew what was going on. And so when they said, "Oh, there's going to be a public vote," it was like, "Oh shit, I better pack then." Right.
That's better pack.
That's the spirit.
Yeah.
In we go.
Yeah.
Back in again.
Yeah.
Pack up your Shakespeare.
Well, I mean, but the thing was, oh shit, I'd done all right.
Yeah.
I was on a level playing field, and now you want to put me back in and risk all that. There's a risk I'm going to mess this up, and my reputation's going to slide off a cliff.
But also a rather discombobulating in which everyone else in there has no idea how they are seen.
Yes.
And they are, they might have an ego about how they're being perceived. You know how they are being perceived because you get a sense of how the audience are reacting as in the TV audience. And then you're kind of thrust in as a bit of an outsider, even though you're an insider. That must really mess with your head a little bit.
Well, I tried to mess with their heads because obviously I wasn't allowed to tell them anything, and they were guessing constantly.
Oh, you would, wouldn't you? It's corny. You.
And so, I tried to mix things up and just plant a few seeds of doubt with some of them. I found it very easy to wind Ray up. Lovely bloke, but very easy to wind up.
Yeah. You became, as I said, very popular with the fans because of your eccentric ways, John, and your wacky inventions as well. But you were dubbed boring by the media because of your love of sci-fi. You famously sent a contestant to sleep explaining a Star Wars plot. How did you feel about that perception of you?
Let's do a little setup just to explain that.
Yeah.
So we're on the pedalo task. We've got to
Yeah.
keep the pedalo going for God knows how many hours
Yeah.
in a row. So you've got to motivate people to keep going. Goss said he needed motivation and was tired, and would I tell him some stories? Well, I just happened to have been reading some Star Wars books before I went in. It's not like I did it all the time. It's just,
No.
it's just what was fresh in my mind. So yes, it was one of those things where you go, oh my God, this is just going to be my life now, isn't it? People are going to take the piss out of me forever for doing this.
But I think it's so interesting of how you can be perceived so differently by press and media and the public.
Yeah.
Totally different.
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, I know who I am, so I'm comfortable
You're
with who I
comfortable
am.
with it. The
Yeah.
public loved it.
Yes.
It's just fascinating how different it can be interpreted or spun is maybe a
Yes.
better word. Yeah.
Yes, but we're doing this podcast because I was in the days before social media, so I guess I didn't have to suffer all of that sort of level attention or the detailed attention that you get nowadays. So,
Are
I
you
guess-
glad there wasn't social media
think
for
so.
when you were in Big Brother?
Yes,
Yeah.
I think so. That would have been an extra thing to contend with, and I could deal with it on my own terms in my own way back then. But if I'd had to deal with all of that as well, I doubt I would have applied if I'd seen what it was doing to previous housemates.
Yeah. Yeah. So for you, Big Brother was the you've said yourself, you just wanted to see that you could do it. And once you knew you could do it and that had finished, you're thinking at that point back to what you did mention, that there's like these parties suddenly that you're able to go to, you know, the free, but you're happy, you are fine with that side of things. But that must have still brought in photographers and people coming up and going, Jon, off Big Brother.
Yeah, but I never sold my story to the press, so they very quickly knew that I wasn't going to give them anything. And you know, even outside the club, if you're having a picture taken, I'm not saying anything to them. So there's no story that they can make up about that.
Why did you come to that decision?
My friends are very important. I'm going to get emotional again. My friends are very important to me. None of them let me down. They say on the way in, don't tell any of your friends. If anybody finds out and it leaks, you're out. You can't do Big Brother. I told everybody.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, Jon.
But I wanted to, you know, it sounds horrible, but I wanted to test them. And
I see,
none
okay.
of them let me down.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to let them down. Because what is a story to a newspaper? It's not really about you. It's about
Who's
stiffing someone else.
Yeah.
And I wasn't
Yeah.
going to do that.
Are your friends largely from like childhood? Are they from work?
Yeah, people remark that I'm strange like that, but yes, my school friends are still an important
That's strange. I
group.
think that's lovely.
Yeah, I think it is.
University friends, all the offices I've worked in. So whether it's Leicester, Oxford, Staines, Cardiff, I've got different friends groups from those. So yeah,
That's really lovely. That's really nice. And that's that whole side of thing of fame and celebrity. It just has never appealed to you.
no, I was never going to trade them in for other people, I'm afraid.
No.
I mean, we can go out for a drink after, but I'm not
Yes.
going to ditch my friends for you.
No. I think that's so like it is so refreshing to hear in a world of, as you say, Scott, like reality TV, as great it is, it's now predominantly used by people who are quite open about it. I
Yeah.
do have to say, of it is a vehicle for them to find fame and celebrity.
It was also a vehicle for me to find out about the media. So I did my physics degree to find out how the universe worked. I was quite interested to find out how the media worked. How was the show put together? Given what I said, what was shown?
Yeah.
I was very lucky that they took me into because I was such a pain in their backsides because the amount of time I spent arguing with them in the diary room. This was a control thing for me.
Yeah.
When I was in the diary room, they couldn't leave. They had to stay in what was basically a phone box in the gallery talking to me.
Yeah.
So if I stayed there for 2 hours, they couldn't go to the toilet.
Oh,
So
Jon.
Big Brother wasn't in control of me. I was in control of them.
You wanted to know how it worked, and rather than go into a job behind the camera, you put yourselves as the guinea pig. You went into it as the experiment. I know how to have an element of control. If I sit in that diary room and I keep talking,
Yes, they certainly didn't help themselves.
I think you'd do well in prison, Jon. I think you'd have worked it all out. You'd have clocked all the systems and
I had a
got everyone on
game
side.
that I played with them. Very early on, I realised that they weren't allowed to have a normal conversation with me. They were only it was obvious to me that they were only allowed to say certain phrases. And when they showed me that phone box that they had to sit in, wall to ceiling, 6 foot high, just cue cards with, if a contestant says this, this is what you must reply with. So I used to go in the diary room just for my own amusement, spend 2 hours in there, trying to get them, manipulate them till the point they would say one of the phrases they'd used on a previous day. I used to call it phrase of the day. And I would not leave until they'd done my bidding and said that phrase.
They'd be almost like a call centre of that's how, like a script that they stuck to.
Yes, it was absolutely a script, yeah.
Wow.
So it wasn't a conversation.
That's fascinating, because when you're in a Big Brother house, I would imagine, and we've seen a lot of people have nearly like breakdowns in that diary room because they're struggling with the environment that Big Brother creates, to then be sat in a chair with somebody who is sticking to a script. Anybody who's ever rang a call centre knows how infuriating that is. But if that's your conversation after 20 days of chatting to nobody else.
Has it made you more cynical about reality TV? What's your relationship to reality TV now? If, let's say, Big Brother comes on or another TV show in the evening, is it something that you actively, or have you become a bit more cynical because you've seen essentially the sausage factory?
No, that's a really good question. No one's asked me that before. Not cynical as such. But I think because I know how it's made, then there's no excitement for me. What I would say is that, sometimes we attribute the sort of personality of a faceless organization to the people who are actually working on the show. I've explained that I knew these producers. I knew the voices of Big Brother. They were all people like me. They were in their late 20s. They were just trying to do the absolute best that they could do. They were all good people. So when people say, "Oh, you were edited badly," or that was evil of them to show like that, their comeback is always, "Well, if you didn't say it, we couldn't have shown it, could we?" And I understand that, but also I don't ascribe any negative reasons to them for doing something in a certain way. They were just trying to put a show up.
Do you ever miss it?
Oh, do I have Stockholm syndrome?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. That lasted months and months and months.
Really?
Yeah, it was really weird. I didn't expect it. I didn't know how to deal with it. But
did they have aftercare back then?
yes,
John? Yeah.
yes. I mean, we were in and out of Harley Street. We were looked after. We didn't have the kind of security people around us that they did in Big Brother 1, because that was crazy. So we could walk down the street on our own and stuff. But yes, we had psychiatrists care for a bit. But the Stockholm syndrome, you're in an isolated environment with people who become friends very quickly. It's safe. It's nice. There's no press hounding you. There's no one bothering you. There's no manager at work telling you missed the deadline or you're not doing your job well enough. And you can just be yourself. And despite the fact we didn't win any tasks and we had no food, we could eat, but
you were just sunbathing, reading Shakespeare.
Having a lovely time.
Nice.
And who wouldn't want to be doing that? It was just like being on a glorious holiday, and it lasted 3 months. So
God, those were the days.
Yeah, 3 months.
Yeah.
But also fascinating that you were treating it as a getting away from, work and the papers and stuff, whilst knowing also in the back of your head that you being on the show with everyone else is doing that on the outside. Did you think about the outside world?
Yeah, but tried to avoid that. That's a very astute question. So yes, the reason you got the Stockholm syndrome was, I don't want that. I don't want to think about that happening in a few weeks' time. Just let me be safe in here. Even to the extent, there was a rap party after the show finished for all the crew and the contestants. So we all went back into the house and had a party, and even then it felt good to be back in the house. This was a safe place again.
Yeah.
No press there.
Yeah.
So we've got a audience question of the week from an M Pritch 87, probably not their real name. Does he still sing Hotel California when watering the plants?
Oh God! Now you've said that, and I think it's Matthew Pritchard, the mathematician scientist.
See, if we reveal the identity allegedly. So what's the context behind this?
I was watering the plants, and I was listening into a conversation. They were all sitting around the pool or something, and they were talking about their favourite music. And someone mentioned that they liked Hotel California, and I don't know what possessed me, because I heard the camera.
Yeah.
It was up there and it whirred, and I could see it. I could feel it on me. I knew I was on camera, and I'm terrible at remembering words of songs. And if you actually look back and see what I sung or half spoke, I got two different verses and melded them together. I missed out a load of the song.
Mirrors on the ceiling, pink champagnes on ice. We are all just prisoners here of our own device. Relax, said the nightmare. We are programmed to recede. But we can check out any time we like. But we can never leave.
But yeah, I pointed out to them that there were some interesting words in Hotel California about checking out and never leaving, and something like that. I mean, obviously, since it's been explained to me that it's a song about heroin and nothing about staying in hotels, what can you do? So there I am, and when you watch that clip, I start singing it, and then halfway through, my heart just goes, "Oh shit! I'm singing on national TV," and I can't sing anymore, and that's
You
why.
back out.
And that's why I say the second half of it.
I see.
It's just a complete, absolute balls up, and one of the things that people remember
Every
about
day's
me
a
the
school
most.
day. Oh, Jon Tickle, thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much.
What
Thank
a
you very much,
pleasure.
Oh, my
Amy.
word.
It's been delightful for me.
The
Thank you.
teenage me is
Yeah.
just at a complete
You're
peace.
making me feel very old now.
Right, let's leave that there. Join us for Jon Tickle episode 2.
Who would have
Brainiac.
thought?
I know. It's a two-parter. We're going to explore Brainiac, inventions, and a theory that means Traitors is a win-win.
Like and subscribe to us on YouTube or at Instagram at Remember Me or on our TikTok page at RememberMeMDS. And you can also follow and watch us on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts.
Danny, what does MDS mean?
Mic Drop Studios, like and subscribe.
Sorry, yes. Mic Drop Studios, like and subscribe, says producer Danny.